What up, Scale? Welcome to Bar Vibes with Bars. For you and our raw reaction and interact with the masses. No subject is safe. You hear the people in the noise, but that's the point because without the people, what is the point? Woo! Embrace some vibrations. Yeah. So, yeah, week 3. We are here. Worldwide, wide. I am recording this while the Phillies are playing and Quizzo's on its way. So, gotta get through this. I gotta get through this. Yeah, let's stop playing around. You know, as well as I know, what's first. Go Birds. Hey, listen. The defense showed up in a major way. Except for the fact that they forgot who the fuck Chris Olave was. Every time I looked up, this man was catching the football. It was the weirdest thing ever. I think it was 6 for 6. Also had a touchdown. And our DBs played really well. But Chris Olave just seemed to be fucking open at any given moment. But I digress. Eagles defense made Derek Carr look very uncomfortable all day. Saints offense had 91 points first 2 games, 12 on Sunday. Uno, dos, 6 plus 6, 12 points. Chauncey Gardner-Johnson looked like he had a point to prove. If you don't know his backstory when it comes to the Saints, they didn't want to pay him. They shipped him off to us, and then we didn't want to pay him. But then he went to the Lions and came back because, he just, he once an Eagle, always an Eagle. Quinyon Mitchell, our rookie DB, had a really good day unless it was against Chris Olave. Weird. And Zach Bond proving why Vic Fangio, even during training camp, believed in him and said, hey, he's going to be on the field. He's going to start. He's going to be a part of the defense. I understand that he didn't, typically play middle linebacker when he was with the Saints. A revenge game for Zach Bond. Had a really good game. And he was flying around, doing his thing. Jordan Davis with a monster fucking sack. If you see the play, Derek Carr, it was like a play-action play, and he turned around, and you got a 350-pound dude. He just went down, just laid on the ground. Nope, I'm not going to let that happen to me. My guy, Ed Reed Blankenship, with another fucking pick to seal the game. Reed Blankenship has 6 picks and 24 starts. Do the math. That's pretty dope. And then when you go onto the offensive side of the ball, Jalen, he had a decent game. The fumble was ridiculous. You're carrying the ball like you don't give a shit. Gotta shape that up. Another pick, I get it. But other than that, he was making good decisions, especially when it came to running the football on gimme downs when it's 3rd and 4 or when it's 2nd and 6. And thank the heavens for Dallas Goedert. Man, oh man. Especially when Devontae went down. Dirty hit. I'm not sure. He didn't hit him with the helmet to helmet. It was in his back. But it was when he was reeling. So he wasn't trying to get extra yards. He just didn't want to go down. There was 2 people keeping him up. So are they keeping him up on purpose so he can get hit? I don't know. It was a terrible, terrible hit. But if anyone stepped up after that, it was Saquon motherfucking Barkley. Golly. If I was a Giants fan and I was, just so happened to meander across this game, I'd be pissed all over again. Pissed. Home run hitter. Shohei Saquon Ohtani. It's good to have some momentum to work with, going into this. Oh, no. Wow. So, Bryce Harper with a ding-dong home run. We'll get to that later. But, Eagles go Birds. I'll take 2-1. Why not? Cardinals, Lions. This is a game that started off really well, did not end really well. Amon-Ra St. Brown is back. And I said this, like, I think it was the first week. I think he had, like, 2 catches for 14 yards. And I'm like, this is a guy who he looks at his stat sheets. He does. Looks at his targets. Looks at everything when it comes to his game. No chance you would keep this man away from the end zone. And the Lions might have the second best 1-2 punch at running back when it comes to Jahmyr Gibbs and it's not Josh Jacobs. Oh, Montgomery. They got from the Bears. A very ballsy call from the Lions for a button hook in the first half. They weren't even like in trouble. And if you don't know what a button hook is, receiver catches the ball, passes it back, and he scores. Ballsy call. The Cardinals, they tend to get away from their run game, and they have a particularly good one with James Conner. And I don't understand why they didn't run the ball. You'll see on the stat sheet where it's like they probably had 80, 90 yards rushing, but a lot of that was Kyler Murray running out and getting yards. He was their leading rusher today. Cardinals, terrible on third downs. That seemed to be a theme this week. I don't understand it. A lot of teams were bad on third down, including the Cardinals. The Lions played really, really aggressively. Especially you see the last play to seal the game. You get Jared Goff, the quarterback for the Lions, on a bootleg. And Jared Goff is not a nifty guy in any shape or form. And they bootlegged him. Shout out to Dan Campbell. Bootlegged him out to seal the game. Cardinals, not really in trouble. They got Marvin Harrison Jr. Not really towards the end of the game, but they gotta work on converting on third downs because, I mean, honestly, that was the name of the game. The Lions held the ball. Cardinals did not. Dolphins, Seahawks. We're talking about Skylar Thompson here, so, I mean, there's not much to really say. It's Skylar Thompson. What was he supposed to do? Even in the red zone, 5 yards away after a turnover, they kicked a field goal. It's Skylar Thompson. For the Seahawks, I like Zach Charbonnet. I like them coming out from Notre Dame. I feel like he's going to be one of those running backs who, like, ask for a contract. He'll probably get it because, you know, during this game, he showed he could catch out of the backfield. He showed he could run between the tackles. He had 2 touchdowns. Zach Charbonnet is pretty good. But also, the Seahawks seem to find random running backs all over the place, so I don't know. I think Seahawks have a top 5 core at receiver when it comes to DK. They got Jackson Smith and Jigba and Taylor Lockett, and then also they got Noah Fant. I forgot about that. The Dolphins missed Tua. I know Tyreek Hill missed Tua, and the Dolphins did not protect Skylar Thompson at all, which makes a lot of sense as to why Tua is always fucking hurt. I think the weirdest thing that come from this game is that the Seahawks are undefeated. Only 1 of 5 teams undefeated, 3-0. It's a weird division. Packers Titans. Both teams started off strong. They both had touchdowns on their first couple drives. But the story of this game was the fact that the Packers, their coaching staff got Malik Willis ready for this game. Malik Willis he's not a world beater. He's an athlete, sure. In college, you know, he was a dual threat quarterback. Not a big thrower of the football, but if he needed to, he's got an arm. The Packers coaches went, hey, I'm going to give you 20 plays. If you can just do these very well, we can win this game. And Malik Willis was like, all right, sure. And it's exactly what they did. Simple game around his skill set, which is I can make things happen if I look 1, 2, and they're not there, I'm out. See you. And it's what he did the entire game, and it worked. And if you're the Titans, you got to understand that that's what's going to happen, but they didn't. Another week, another Will Levis fucking turnover. for a score. At some point, and the Titans are handcuffed to him, Will Levis right now. But at some point, bro, you got to stop turning the ball over. It was good to see that they were not that DeAndre Hopkins for the Titans is not being wasted. I mean, he had a monster catch for a touchdown. But Will Levis has to be more decisive. He stands in a pocket and thinks that because he has a strong arm, that if he stands in there, it's going to work out. Sometimes it's not, you know. Sometimes you got to take the easy dump down, or sometimes you got to take the easy slant, or sometimes you got to take the easy throw and live to fight another down. But the biggest thing, other than, you know, the coaches helping out Will Levis with Malik Willis, you see the Will, is that Jordan Love with that MCL injury can kind of breathe like, okay, I don't need to rush back because this is working right now. Nobody could have told you that they would have been at this position with Jordan Love out, but they are. Pack, go. That's what they say. Broncos, Bucks. I look at you, Bill Nix, and I go, look at you. Not too high, not too low. No turnovers for Bo Nix. Good shit. Because I was high on Bo Nix coming out. He was my favorite rookie quarterback coming out of college last year. There was one play I thought Bo Nix was about to throw at the fucking Neptune. He like reared up and he did it twice, and then he pulled it down and ran. I was like, oh my goodness, Bo Nix, thank God, because it was about to get ugly. And then as for the Bucks, Baker Mayfield, he checked it down a lot in this game, a lot. 33 attempts, less than 200 yards, a terrible pick. Where the fuck is Mike Evans? I don't know. The Bucks defense didn't pressure Bo Nix enough to force him into really, really bad decisions, because that's why the Broncos were reeling. Bo Nix was so under pressure, and he thinks he's fucking Superman, and that's why the Broncos were losing. If you give Bo Nix 3-5 seconds, you're gonna lose in this offense. Sean Payton brought Bo Nix into this organization because he felt like, hey, our offensive line gives Bo Nix some time. We're winning games. Their defense is good enough. They got the back end. Pass rush maybe not there, but Bucks, you better look out, because your division not looking as easy as you think it was. Giants, Browns. Another game that did not end the way the game began. Browns get a turnover on the opening kickoff. Fumble. Bang. And then you go out, and then Deshaun Watson throws a fucking dime to Amari Cooper. You're up 7-0. Let's go. Nope. The Browns' offensive line is awful. And this is not an excuse for Deshaun Watson, because he also is awful. When he gets an outlet, he comes back into the problem. He goes out of the problem, but then he comes back into the problem. And I'll tell you this, like if I went into a coma after the last year of Deshaun Watson's year in Texas, in Houston, and then I came out, if I went into a coma before I saw him ever, and I came back into here, like this time, I would sue the Browns because they paid him so much money. Who the fuck is this guy? Deshaun Watson sucks. He's awful. Ugh. As a Browns fan, I can understand why you were very, very hyped, and why you're very, very upset right now. It's crazy. Malik Neighbors for the Giants is fucking nice. Danny Dimes, I don't know if he deserves that right now. Daniel Jones was very competent. He didn't do anything overly. They weren't worried. The New Jersey Giants were not worried. But as for the Browns, where the fuck is Jerry Jeudy? Haven't seen him in a while. Forgot he was on the team. But the Giants got the Ass Bowl coming up on Thursday. The 1-2 Giants versus the 1-2 Cowboys. That should be fun to watch. I will watch it though, because I love football. But Ass Bowl. Chiefs, Falcons. Of course, there was a weird referee, controversial fucking call that resulted in the fact that the Chiefs won. Of course there was. I'm not saying that it wasn't right. I'm saying, of course, that it was. Atlanta oddly lacks a running game, even though they have Bijan Robinson, who is a monster in the running game. In the football game, regardless of whatever. But Kirk Cousins looked like a fucking statue, yet again, just standing there. He doesn't even take like 3-step drops or 5. It's literally 2. It's hike 2. Hike 2. Almost sound like Hawk 2. That was hilarious. And it's putting his offensive line, which is fairly good. They're giving him a pocket, but it's putting them in a bind. Kansas City might want to work on their red zone offense. I saw them kick 3 field goals in the red zone. Weird when you have arguably the greatest tight end in NFL history, which is also weird because I haven't seen them throw to Kelsey in weeks. That man had 30 yards. 30! It's weird not seeing Mahomes to Kelsey. ATL's not getting pressure on Mahomes, and you know that if you watch football, no pressure on Patrick Mahomes means you're going to lose that fucking game. I don't care who you are. My last point about Patrick Mahomes, you get a lot of shit for this quarterback or this quarterback or this quarterback just turning the ball over. When do they ever talk about Patrick Mahomes turning the ball over? 2 really bad picks in this game. Bad. They don't talk about that. Oh, Patrick Mahomes, he won the game. Can we start talking about this, please? Atlanta, running a jet sweep on 4th and 1 on your 10-yard line to potentially win the game. Not going to get it done. Be better. You could have won this game. Niners-Rams. If you had been paying attention to this game, you couldn't tell. If I had turned it off, like third quarter, oh yeah, Niners got that in the back. No, they don't. They lost. Rams won. Brock Purdy definitely missed Debo. He definitely missed Kittle. He definitely missed some of his starting offensive linemen. But if you're gonna go out and he's probably gonna ask to be paid this offseason, these are the games that you need to win, or at least show I can do it. Granted, Brock Purdy did not have a terrible game. He had a very competent game. Shout out to Juwan Jennings, the only receiver that really showed up for the Niners. Man, that man only he was 11 catches, 175 yards, 3 tutties. Man was looking at his hands like, are these my hands? They were your hands. Hands of losers. Matt Stafford showed you why being a veteran is very important in this league. Matt Stafford's also missing Puka Nacua, Cooper Kupp, his 2 number 1 targets. Didn't need him. They were talking about receivers I had never even heard of before, other than Tutu Atwell, who had a monster catch. The Rams play calling was a difference in the sense that there was a play call and it was also Matt Stafford audibling out of plays that he clearly knew weren't going to work. Did it twice. Both resulted in touchdowns. The 49ers linebackers were falling for motions. They were falling for things that their eyes saw beforehand. Matt Stafford recognized that. Last play call for the Niners was exciting. And I thought I mean, they were getting further and further down the field. I'm like, fuck, don't let them score this. And they didn't. But it was exciting. These games are always fire. AFC West, up in the air. Seahawks, yes, Seahawks are 3-0. But it's a fight. It is a fight. Panthers, Raiders, God damn it. Raiders lost me a couple dollars, sure. But this made for a very interesting story. Because the Panthers fans should be happy, 1. 2, should be very worried. Because Andy Dalton made it look really easy to operate in this offense, while Bryce Young made it look like it was a fucking task. So, I mean, at the end of the day, after you use a first-round pick and a bunch of picks to trade for that first-round pick on Bryce Young, do you trust that he can be coached up? Or do you go cut your losses and get something back for him? The defense for the Panthers looked so inspired once the Panthers started scoring. They were in the game. Deontay Johnson, the wide receiver for the Panthers, who was on the Steelers and got traded, he got hands. This man looked like a number one. I couldn't believe it. The Raiders, they're not posing a threat in the passing game, even with Devontae Adams as your number one of the greatest receivers to ever touch a football. I heard today that he said that they were looking to get he said that they wanted Jaden Daniels and they were hoping he was going to slip to 13, even with having Minshew on deck. But Panthers, what do you do with Bryce Young? What do you do? The NFC South looks so much more competitive than it did when the season started, where it was like they were like, oh, the Falcons got Kirk Cousins is a wash. The Saints don't have. I'm telling you, don't let the Panthers stick with Andy Dalton. I'm just saying. Ravens, Cowboys, and I'm not gonna pile on the Cowboys. I would never do that. I'm very, 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 very not in the notion or the business of bashing teams that I personally don't like. I'm objective. The threat for the run for the Ravens just overwhelmed the Cowboys. The Ravens don't push the ball down the field airily, but they didn't need to. With Derrick Henry, Justice Hill, and Lamar Jackson, what was the point? They didn't need to do that. They did not need to do that at all. It was run. I'm gonna throw a little screen pass or whatever. Run. And the Cowboys knew that and did nothing about it. Nothing. You see the Ravens line up in I formation. You think they're gonna pass the ball? I don't. No. Then you get the two crybabies, one on one offensive side of the ball, one on the defensive side of the ball. You get CeeDee Lamb crying about how he's hungry and he's gonna be here all day and he's not getting the targets and he's open. You fumbled the ball in the fucking red zone. Make that make sense. You had like 3 drops, and then you get Micah Parsons crying on live television about how people shouldn't be supermen. People need to do their jobs and trust. What about your job? I watched it multiple times where they ran directly at Micah Parsons, and he did nothing. The game was only a 3-point game because the Ravens let up in the fourth quarter. They had it handily, 28-6. The defensive backs used to be a strong point for the Cowboys. Not anymore. And then you got Lamar putting the game in his hands at the end where it's like, you think you hand it off? No, I'm not handing it off. First down. Dak Prescott again with the empty calories at the end of the game. You see his stat lines like 370 yards. If you watch the game, where were those yards at the beginning of the game? I didn't see it. And then my end point for them is, what the fuck is going on with Justin Tucker? Missing 47-yard field goals. Never seen that from him. So might want to shape that up, big dog. Texans versus Minnesota. Well. If it isn't Sam Darnold, the 7-year bump. From what I hear, this man been in the league for 7 years. This is my favorite. So this is a thing where you talk about coaching is very important. Sam Darnold's been in some shitty ass situations. Coaching in Mini is helping this man out exponentially. Their play calling, killing it. When you can scheme Justin Jefferson wide open, I don't know how you do it. Play calling. CJ Stroud didn't have a great game. The Texans are in long third downs way too much, and they definitely missed Joe Mixon. I mean, he played the first week, and now their run game is just non-existent. And they Texans have too many weapons to struggle with. Dell, Nico Collins didn't really show anything, and then you still have Stephon Diggs. What's going on? Minnesota not turning the ball over. Extremely key for their success right now in a division that they're going to have to compete with, especially with the Packers playing the way they're playing. Sam Darnold, not hurt. He has a knee bruise. They thought it was going to be maybe a sprain. It's not. Texans with 11 penalties. Talk about just stabbing yourselves in the foot. You can't have that. You can't keep backing yourselves up out of potential scoring opportunities. Shout out to Sam Darnold, though. I'm proud of him. Colts versus Bears. I was told that the Colts defense sucked, and it's not great, but it was good enough because, again, we're in this situation where the Bears are just in so many weird third and long situations because they first and second down, they're not running the football, or you get incompletions. And Anthony Richardson, the Colts quarterback, he's an athlete. He's not a quarterback yet. Athlete, not a quarterback yet. Colts O-line won them this game because Anthony Richardson had time. Run offense was pretty good. Saw Jonathan Taylor showing flashes of OPOY, Jonathan Taylor. The Bears were 1 for 11 on third down, and it's just not going to get it done. Caleb had a decent day. Caleb Williams had a decent day. Over 300 of them things. Got help from Roma Dunze. But somebody has to tell Anthony Richardson that his receivers are not 8 feet tall. He throws it over their heads like he's throwing it to Jesus. They're lucky they got this win. They are. And they needed it. 0-2, needed it. Commanders and the Bengals. This game had 0 punts, 0 turnovers. And the Bengals actually showed that they had a run game with Chase Brown and Zach Moss, but Washington's O-line is just top notch. I'd say top 6 or 7. Jaden Daniels had a fucking day. Jaden Daniels had a day. He only had 2 or 3 incompletions. He's throwing it up to his top wide receivers and not making mistakes, running the football when he needs to. I've seen this before. His name was RG3, but I'm not comparing him to him because this O-line is better than that O-line was. And Jamar Chase actually showed up. Joe Burrow showed up. But the Bengals' red zone's offense did not. They were settling for field goals, and they were letting the Commanders hold on to the game. The Commanders grasped the game, and they never let it go. They were making really good decisions when it was third and short, when it was, give it to your running back and let them, control the clock. And at this point, if you look at it, the Commanders are better than Dallas. Weird. You get prime Chargers, Austin Eckler, catching the ball out of the backfield, tough yards. Hey, it's been a while since the NFC East has had 2 teams that come out into the playoffs. I'm sorry to say this to you, Giants and Cowboys, but Commanders might have your number. I'm just saying. And that Bengals Super Bowl window is closing fast. Closing real fast. The Bills and the Jags. The Bills do not miss Stephon Diggs, and there's one reason, and there's 2 words. Josh Allen. I was listening to this game. They were saying names about receivers I'd never even heard of before. I didn't know who the fuck was catching the football out there for the Bills. And Josh Allen was just slinging that thing. Running. Throwing. Might as well I wish they would have thrown him a fucking touchdown pass. He looked like a fucking MVP out there. And then on the flip side, you name me one thing that the fucking Jaguars do well. I don't know what it is. They don't run the ball well. They don't play really good defense. They don't rush the passer. They're not turning the ball over. God damn it, the Phillies are losing 6-1. Wow. And the Khan family wasted their money on Trevor Lawrence. They panicked. They thought he was going to be good. He is the most average quarterback I've ever seen, maybe even below average. Trevor Lawrence has Doug Peterson fighting for his job, and he shouldn't be. Don't get it. Makes no sense. Damn it. I'm sorry, Phillies are losing. I don't know what the Jaguars do well. I don't. That's all I have to say about this game. That's it. Bills good, Jaguars bad. Then other news of sports. Phillies clinched the NL East. First time in 13 years. Yay. That's not the end goal here. We all know the end goal for the Phillies is to win the World Series. They celebrate it. Fantastic. They're fucking losing right now 6-1, but that's neither here nor there. They won the NL East. Fantastic. Sixers extend Embiid for 3 years. Great choice. Windows wide open, especially with Paul George on the team right now. Liverpool, they won back-to-back matches in Champions League and also the Premier League. Second in the table. Shout out to that draw from Man City and Arsenal, 2-2. That was weird. Brett Favre apparently got diagnosed with Parkinson's disease. That sucks. Pay them their fucking money back, Brett. We didn't forget. Red October is approaching. October in general is approaching. It's about to be hoodie season out here. Get them hoodies on. Big ups to the first state. Stay focused and be great. Take a sip. The Phillies are losing right now, and I'm not happy. Go Birds.